Hello nieces, hello nephews, it's your Uncle Charles here and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we do unbiased price action analysis. And guys, we finally got a close above that 61.8 fib level of 429.6. Remember, I have fib levels from all-time high down to October low based on the downtrend structure, and 429.6 was the golden zone, the 61.8 fib level. Now let's take a closer look here. My blue lines right here, blue line, this is the 429.6 level. This blue line was the 426 level. You see we had a 4-day chop. We had a triple top of the 429.6. I mentioned to you guys, bulls are going to need a breakout of that level or a gap up, and they must defend 429.6 as support. All right, it was an interesting day. Okay, interesting day, and definitely got to talk about what happened. All right, now before I do, I just want to show you guys my general lean. Remember, Uncle Charles cannot see the future. I just use the price action analysis. All right, sometimes the market is a little bit more predictable than usual. All right, but it's all price action analysis. All right, there's no seeing the future. There's no psychic. None of that. Okay, so I wrote my general lean, not predictions, just a general lean, a forecast. I wrote that I have no lean today other than to strictly react to the price action. Okay, you guys know how I am. We are in the chop range and my real lean comes when this range breaks. So above 29.6, I was bullish. Below 426, I was bearish, okay? However, what I will say is with the near perfect rejections from the 429.6 level, I would be a little surprised if market makers don't at least go hit the liquidity zone, which is above 429.6. And with the August 22 high, there's also liquidity just above that as well. So there was a couple of things that I wanted to see. I was favoring that SPY will go hit the liquidity zone that's above 429.6. And remember, the August 22 high was at 431.73. If we go back to the daily chart, we can see right here, August 2022 high was 431.73. We see it was it was selling pressure there and led to a new low. So just above 431.7, we know that there's liquidity above there. Okay, so we go to this 30-minute chart. You can see on Friday at market open, we gapped up. There's the gap. Okay, we gapped up. After a triple top, we gapped up. That's not exactly bearish. People who shorted at 429.6 see this gap up, they're going to get very scared and it's going to force them to cover or respect their stop loss. Hopefully they did take the loss, and it did. They gapped up and they squeezed it a little bit. It wasn't a big move, but look at where they went. This green line right here is 431.73. This green line was the August 2022 high. And look what happened. We got a false breakout setup. I was referencing the 431.5 to 432 zone. I mentioned to the group, short the breakdown of false breakout 431.5. But we want to be more specific here. It's 431.73, and you can see liquidity zone was hit. So the liquidity zone was hit when it gapped up and bounced up after getting above 429.6. We see here on this 10 o'clock candle on the 30-minute chart, we got the breakout of 431.73. Got people excited. Oh, we just broke out the August 2022 high. But then the next candle, it closed below. So for anybody that's wondering, what does a false breakout look like? This is what it looks like right here. This is the picture that I want you guys to see. We got a close above a critical resistance level. We cleared it. And then the next candle, we closed back below it. 431.73 liquidity zone got hit. False breakout. Now that you guys know, what a false breakout looks like if you didn't already, okay? Now let me ask you guys a question. We had a triple top, correct? We know that there was a liquidity zone just above, right? Now, for all the people that was waiting for the breakout, where do you think they would have set their stop loss if they entered on the breakout? They would have set their stop loss just below 429.6. Makes sense? They want to enter on the breakout 429.6, so their stop loss or the area liquidity, the new one, would be just below 429.6. So after the market makers went to hit the liquidity above the August 22 high, they came back and said, hey, we are not going to make it easy for the people who bought the breakout. We are going to go stop loss hunt for theirs. For their stop loss is going to hit their liquidity, and it hit it. Boom. So the people that bought the breakout, they most likely, a majority of them at least, they got stopped out. We got the false breakdown right there. Boom. Okay, remember the false breakdown. We break and close below a support level, then the next candle closed back below, and we got a bounce. All right, it didn't hit the top of the, it didn't go back and hit August 2022 high. All right, couldn't get enough strength apparently. But yeah, I can see here, it bounced up a little bit, and then it came back and tested 429.6 as a support. All right. So we're seeing something different here towards the end of the day, because all week last week, 429.6 gave us some strong rejection. Well, Friday's action, we got a false breakdown, and at the end of the day, it gave us a bounce, a small bounce. Will it lead to anywhere? Well, we will find out on Monday. All right? Now we go back to the daily chart. You can see that we did actually close above that green line, that 429.6 level. We closed above the golden zone. Normally, I would say, hey, I think the bull market is back. It's meeting all my conditions. However, one close above critical levels is not enough. That's only one close, and it's a pathetic close. So I'm not fully trusting this breakout just yet until it gives me more confirmation. We also have a lot of catalysts next week. CPI on Tuesday, PPI Wednesday, FOMC as well. All right? A lot of catalysts, and it can go either way. So I'm not going to trust anything. Will I still trade this unbiasedly level to level? Of course. I do that every day, whether I trust the move or not. Because I trust my trading system. I trust my ability to respect my stop loss. I trust the price action, even when the price action changes its mind. Okay? But the bottom line is, I need to see more context before I get either too bullish right now or too bearish. So, remember, play the false breakdowns and false breakouts. You guys see that. Okay? Use smart money concepts to enter breakouts. All right? Play it smart, level to level, unbiasedly. But overall, as far as being bullish and bearish, okay? I'll start off with the bears. We got a breakout. Like I said, I'm not trusting any breakouts because we got a lot of catalysts next week. But if the price action does what it does, I'm not going to argue with it. All right? But as far as being bullish, it must hold above 429.6, obviously. And it must clear that August 2022 high, preferably clear 432, because the high for last Friday was 431.99. All right? If you're a bull, 429.6 must hold as support. It must stay above. If it's not above, it's not bullish. But if it is above, that's bullish. And we need to see 432 clear to trigger more upside. Up to 435, 437, maybe to 440-ish. All right? Remember the bull case. 429.6. If price is above it, you want to stay long bias. If it cleared the August 2022 high or 432, that should make you more long bias because it's clear more resistant. All right? And you should trade in that direction. Follow the price action. Now, if we drop back below 429.6, that is a false breakout setup. Look what happened here intraday. We closed above a critical level and it closed back below the critical level. That's a false breakout and it puts lower targets in play. So now we got to close above the critical 429.6 level. So if it closed back below, that's a false breakout. We already had a false breakdown setup right here. So the probability of another false breakdown is a little lower. But with the price action bullish all year so far, just be careful and don't be too surprised. All right. Either way, if you're a bull, you want to see above 429.6. If you get another false breakdown setup, long it if it recaptures. If you're a bear, you want to see 429.6 fail as support. That will be sign number one. And remember, I have support at 428.5, 427, and then the bottom of this chart range at 426. You'll know to get more bearish when we break down these support levels. And I would definitely be very bearish below 426. And I would favor a gap fill down to 422-ish. If 422 fails to hold, we could probably go test some previous lows down here, okay? 418.2, 420, 417.5 would be my support levels if 422 does not hold. All right? So, bear case starts with the false breakout of 429.6. That means price needs to get back below and give us closes below. Multiple, the better. And if it breaks down 428.5 and more support, get even more bearish. Okay? If you're a bull, we must stay above 429.6. You can try longs above 430 or 432 and target the higher targets that I mentioned. All right? Triple Q, remember, I have fib levels from the all-time high down to October 2022 low, and 349.7 was a 61.8 fib level. I also have fib levels on Triple Q from March 2020 low to all-time high, and one of our fib levels at 351. You guys can see here on Thursday, false breakdown, and then Friday we hit resistance again around 357.5 to 358 zone. Got some strong selling pressure there. All right. Overall, there's a potential double top. So if you're a bear, the next breakdown of 351 and 349.7 should favor you guys very well. Okay. Support I have first though is at 354 and 352.5. You can look to short if those break down, but below 351 and 349.7 is when I would be bear bias. Now, if we can hold above those levels, overall, Triple Q could just be consolidating and basing for higher price targets. All right, for resistance, I have 356, and of course, 357.5 to 358 zone where we had strong selling pressure. You guys can see that with the wicks. So if that clears, all that selling pressure is canceled, and 360, and we have a gap fill around 361-ish, would be in play. All right. So stay, look to long above 356 and 358. You can try shorts below 354 and 352.5, but keep in mind, as long as above 351 and 349.7, I'm overall bullish. So watch out for false breakdown setups. And I would be, like I said, I'll be very bearish only below 349.7. All right. IWM. It's basing. It hit my 61.8 fib level at 187. Basing, pulling back. Might try to pull back and retest 183.3. That's a fib level. All right, I have support at 181.8 as well. One of these support level could get retested. So watch out for any false breakdown setups. All right. And the critical support is 38.2 at 179.6. It's very close to this yellow trend line, which is at 178. All right, so above those, below those levels, especially 178, that would be pretty bearish. We had a false breakdown setup recently off this yellow trend line. All right, so if it breaks down 178, we lose this yellow trend line, and we could see lower targets. All right, and that would be bearish in my opinion. 175, 172 would be next. Tesla, it hit my 1.78.6 Fibonacci extension level on Friday. It was amazing. Gap up and hit it. All right, it chopped between the 1.786 and the 1.618 fib levels. All right, so basically, if you're bearish, You want to see a breakdown of 242. We have a gap fill at 235.5. If that breaks down, 229 is back in play with 223 and 220.8. All right. If you're a bull, I mean, Tesla is so overextended. You want to see some basing. If it does base, it needs to base and stay above 242 with 235.5 lowest. Excuse me. And if it does want more upside, it'll have to clear 251.3, excuse me, with 252.5 above that. Above 252.5, I will favor the gap fill, which is a big decent move to 265. But I have 262.5 and 257.5 as resistant first. Okay? Please add my levels to your charts. Apple, I'm just going to keep it simple with Apple. As long as Apple is above this uptrend line, this orange uptrend line, I'm bull bias. And the support of the uptrend line is 176.8. So for me to switch to bear bias, it's going to have to break down that level. All right, break it down. That is the time to get bearish with 170.6 in play and then gap fill at 165-ish. All right, but overall, if this trend line break down, I will be bear bias, swing puts. Overall, still bullish. Watch for the breakout of 183 and 185 to put in new highs for Apple. NVDA managed to close above 386.6. All right, if it can defend that support, watch for the breakout of 392.8 to trigger more upside back to 399 and fall 2.6s. If below 386.6, look to short. All right, with this triangle pattern in play, 383.75, you can see it's pretty respected. This triangle pattern, we broke out, tested that support. So if it breaks back below 383.6, that would be a false breakout of the triangle pattern and very bearish. Put it 377.7 back in play, and below 377.7, I would be bear bias on NVDA in favor, more downside to 373.7 and possibly lower to 366.3. All right, AMD looking bullish. The selling pressure of this wick makes it a little iffy, but we broke out this triangle pattern. We know what the next critical resistance is, which is 127.5. Long above 127.5, guys. Short below 122.5. Below that would be a false breakout setup, and I would favor the breakdown of the support. It's at 116.5. But if 122.5 fails again, I would favor that breaks down, and we probably head down to 109.5 is maybe. All right, but if it breaks out of 127.5, look to long with 130 in play and higher targets. Okay, and let's end this with the VIX. VIX is basing at my 13.5 is support. All right, if it could base and bounce and break above, let's see, 14.5 and 15.6, we could possibly see a little more upside, okay? And if the VIX can bounce, that would be a good sign of volatility incoming, which next week we have all those catalysts. So if you're complaining that VIX has been sleeping, it might wake up next week, guys. So if you guys been accumulating longs, obviously, don't take on any risks that you cannot handle. Make sure you have good stop losses. But I'm favoring with all CPI, PPI and stuff. We should get some volatility, which could cause the VIX to pop up some. So fingers crossed that next week will be the week that the VIX can give us some action. All right. Other than that, if 13.5 fail, guys, we could possibly see 11.7 and 10 support incoming. We didn't even think we would see VIX drop below 14. At least I didn't. Okay, and it did. All right, so just be open to anything. All right. Dog pool levels for Friday. These side 1.9 billion at the 429 level. All right, so this liquidity at 429. Not surprising to see, but because it's so close to the 429.6 level, that might have been where people set their stop losses or something. I don't know. But look at here, 431.88 over 400 million. around that level. That was very close to the top on Friday. Okay, so interesting stuff. We getting action towards the bottom of Friday's range, getting action at the top of Friday's range. Definitely be watching it. Could they be setting up another chop range? Possible, but we know where the important levels are using dark pools. All right. Here is SPY filtered for 500K premiums or above. Very bearish. Very, very bearish. Entering next week. All right. Triple Q. 57%. All right. Not much contract. 10,000 compared to 7,000. So that's disappointing to see. If it was bullish and we saw like a lot of contract, I'll take it more serious. Same thing goes with, if it was bearish. But this is tiny contract. IWM, tiny size of contract as well, but overall in the puts. Apple, wow, not much people traded on Friday. Apple was overall bearish. All right, this is a little more respectable, 28,000 inside, but I mean it's Tesla, mostly leaning towards the bull side. I'm sure they made a lot of money. NVDA 96%. All right, only 10,000 in calls though, but NVDA don't really get that much action overall, so this is pretty worth noting in my opinion. AMD, more bullish than bearish, and VIX, more bullish than bearish. VIX, I hope you're right because you just been doing nothing for a while now. So, all right, guys, hope you guys found this video useful. If you want more content from Uncle Chadas, please consider joining my Discord. I would love to serve you guys at a higher level. Let's make this money together. Other than that, have a great evening, have a great afternoon, have a great morning, have a great Sunday, and good luck on the upcoming week. Peace.